What's up, guys? It's Data Plug here, and I'm back with another video on the analysis of Carlos and Flight's basketball skills. Now, you may be wondering, why does this matter if they're both trash? But who do you guys have winning, Flight or Carlos in a one-on-one? Exactly. You don't know. They're both on the same level of trash. So that's what I'm here for. I'm going to run through a basketball analysis on their skills and come to a conclusion on who is most likely to win in a one-on-one. Let's get straight into it. So to start off, I thought it would be important for me to break down as to why this is so important, as to if this 1v1 was to ever happen between them, why it's so essential to know who's better. Both of these guys, they both suck at basketball. However, every now and then, it's like they unlock a different version of themselves. And what I mean by this, Flight, for example, he takes L's almost every game. However, he surprises us every now and then. Like in the video with LSK, he almost beat LSK. Even though LSK only had one hand, we usually don't see Flight play like this. Same thing with Carlos. Carlos always gets clowned about his shot, about how he plays, and things of that nature. However, when he played with 2Hype, he completely destroyed Cash. He dropped 8 points on somebody that's supposed to be the best defensive player on YouTube. He helped drop off 2Hype with college hoopers. Both of these guys have the potential to turn that mode on. And to see them 1v1 is really unpredictable what will happen. Now, it is hard to predict who's more trash between two trash people. That's like asking who has worse knees between your age and a 70-year-old man. They both got trash knees. However, I thought I would give it a try. So here's my analysis. Flight stands at a 75 overall, and Carlos stands at a 67. Now, let me dive into why I gave both of them the score that I gave them. Let me start off with Flight. I gave Flight a 75 overall. I gave him a C- finishing because Flight can finish. The only problem that Flight has is that he doesn't look at the rim and think, let me do a layup. All of Flight's basketball moves are spontaneous. Now, to dive into the mid-range shot, Flight can shoot mid-ranges. He probably makes more mid-range shots than he makes three-pointers. But Flight doesn't really think, let me shoot a mid-range jumper. He either shoots that horrid hook shot or that horrid right-hand air ball layup. Now, let's dive into the three-point. Flight's three-point shot itself is horrid. It's absolutely terrible. I gave him a D. He's lucky I didn't give him an F. However, sometimes Flight gets hot, like he has takeover. And that's why I said D or B+ after what I seen with LSK and some other videos. Flight's defense is a D. Simple. He gets a D. Moving on to strength, he gets an F. And we all know why Flight gets an F. Flight is literally a feather, man. Rebounds, I gave him an A. Flight chases his own rebounds. You can't get better at rebounding than that. Handles, I gave Flight a B-. You know, the spider dribble is pretty cool. To be honest, I barely ever see people rip Flight of the ball. No one talks about this. Everyone always clowns Flight for his handles, but I barely ever see Flight get ripped. And then last but not least, school threat. I gave Flight a A+ for a school threat because Flight is definitely a school threat and a menace to society. If he is next to a school zone, they call the police. Now let's get into the ultimate school threat, the ultimate menace. If you see this guy outside, run away. Carlos. I gave Carlos a 67 overall. I'm going to tell you why. So I gave Carlos a finishing score of F. I literally barely ever see Carlos drive. If Carlos even dribbles twice, his daddy Nick tells him to give up the ball. Same thing with mid-range. I barely ever see Carlos shoot a mid-range because of his daddy Nick. And then in terms of three-point, It's either Carlos is off or he's on. If he's on, I give him an A. If he's off, he gets an F. Like, he literally hits the side of the backboard and he airballs almost every time. In terms of defense, oh, he's a menace. I'm not going to lie. Good luck getting a layup with Carlos right there. He will literally grab you and hold on to you and lick your leg. And then in terms of strength, he's a pretty strong guy because he usually fouls a lot and he usually stops people from scoring with his fouls. So I give him a B. And then in terms of rebounds, I give him an A as well. However, I only give him an A because Carlos, if he really wants to rebound, he's a menace. He literally puts you out the way. And then handles, I gave him a C-. Carlos can't really dribble. Like, Carlos usually gets ripped almost every time. He's lucky I didn't give him a D. And then school threat, I give him an A+ as well. Carlos and Flight are both school threats. To be honest, Carlos is an A+++. Like, that guy, he's insane. So to sum it all up, who would win in a one-on-one? Who is better? I put my whole life savings, a large sum of 10 pennies on my boy Flight. I specifically choose Flight in a one-on-one situation with Carlos because, honestly, Flight is overall better than Carlos. And Carlos lacks a lot of 1v1 skills. He doesn't drive. He doesn't shoot mid-range. He only shoots threes. And that's where Flight will get him. And even though Flight is trash and Carlos is trash as well, Flight is less trash than Carlos. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And let me know of any other suggestions in the comment section.